Assalamu alaikum. Shahina Hussain at Edupreneur said, I'm here with a special guest who has done masters in English language and literature and linguistics. So please, Tahira Amir, introduce yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. This
Walaikum.
is Tahira Amir. I have done masters in English literature and linguistics. I have also done B.Ed and diploma in French language. I have been associated with the field of education as a teacher for over a decade now. And I have attended various seminars and workshops on professional development to polish my teaching skills. And I feel that teaching and learning never stops. So I am still in the process of learning new strategies and methods to polish my skills and apply those strategies in my classrooms.
Wow, teaching, the learning process never stops. Great, I agree with you. Let's start our presentation.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Tahira, please introduce the topic differentiated instructions. What is it?
Okay, this topic is about some teaching strategies. As teachers, we understand that students come from diverse background. Their knowledge, interest, ethical background, and learning profile differ from each student. Students are now not just the consumer of facts. Basically, they are active creators of knowledge, and it is very important for a teacher to make sure that each child is properly catered and that each child is able to understand the topic. So basically, the role of teachers in a child's schooling has drastically changed. And instruction is not only about lecturing in the class to the students who sit and listen and try to record what they hear, but it's more about learning and basically understanding that each child has a unique experience of learning. So it's very important for the teacher to deliver instruction in the best possible way. So this is where differentiated instruction, or we call it DI, which means altering instruction to meet individual needs. This is where differentiated instruction works.
It means to fulfill the needs of individuals. Differentiated instructions are important. Let's
Yes, we
proceed.
are going to further elaborate in my next slides. Uh, yes. Okay. The objective of this session is to make my participants audience understand the vocabulary related to differentiated instruction. They should be able to understand the principles and elements of differentiating in the classroom, and must be able to implement one or more instructional strategies to support differentiation in the classroom. So next is, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so this is a question I think I should ask the teachers here, that how far as teachers we are able to meet the needs of diverse learners in our classroom. Like, for example, for us as teachers, we must plan activities that appeal and engage every diverse learner. As I had already said, that students are coming from diverse background. They have their own learning style, they have their own interest, goals, strengths. So our classroom is filled with the mixed able students, from the quietest child to a child who doesn't speak much in the classroom, to the student in the classroom who is the loudest, who volunteers every time. So because we know that students are coming from, like, they are coming in many forms, so each individual we teach will have a different set of interest, goals, and strengths, which regardless of age, ability, or subject. So identifying the gaps of the learner and fulfilling those gaps, we need to develop lesson plans in a way that it suits to all the mixed able students in our classroom. It is very important for a teacher to come up with a plan which she thinks that it is catering every individual in the classroom. So we move to the next one. This is what is differentiated instructions. Let me miss the previous slide, please. Okay, this is a little definition. I can say that what is differentiated instruction. Let me go a further more in detail. DI, as I said, differentiated instruction means teaching the same material to all the class students using variety of instructional strategies. It requires the teacher to deliver lesson at various levels based on the ability of each child. Now here it does not mean that the teacher needs to prepare lesson for every individual student in the class. We can put in simple words that DI very usefully tailors and plans and assists the teachers to identify the gaps in the students, among the students, and fill those gaps with proper planning through modifying the teaching methods. It also provides the teacher a platform and obviously to the students to understand well, and it is also the opportunity to show for the learners to showcase their learning and help them bring at the same pace. Next, we can see that what exactly differentiated does it. How does it help the teacher and the learners alike? Basically, differentiated learning or instruction aims to improve learning outcomes. When we know that the student has understood the given topic or the content, he is or she is able to showcase, tell the students or the teacher in the class that how much improvement he has in their learning. Inspire a love of learning, which means that when we give students a chance to choose their own way of giving or producing their result, it gives more depth and understanding to the student. It increases the self awareness. Apart from that, it also engages students more in a productive manner. We are going to further talk about the differentiated instructions in the classroom, that how they are divided. There are different elements that we focus. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, we can see that there are four elements of differentiation in the classroom: differentiation in content, process, product, and learning environment. So, I'm going to explain little in depth that what content differentiation is. Basically, content is a fundamental lesson which is set by the school standards. Like some students in the class may be completely unaware of the topic or the concept, but some students may have partial understanding of the material, or maybe some students are much more familiar with the content even before the lesson begins. So what teachers can do is differentiate the content by designing activities for groups of students that cover various levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And I'm sure that as teachers we very well know what Bloom's taxonomy is. So students who are familiar with the lesson could be required to complete tasks on a lower level. For example, those students who have low order thinking skills, they can be given tasks for remembering and understanding and moving on to the students who have the ability to apply and analyze the content. So the students who have high levels of mastery can be asked to complete the task through evaluating and creating. Some examples could be like if you're teaching a comprehension in your classroom as language teachers, so instead of sticking to the same comprehension passage in your textbook, the objective should be that the student must be aware or must be able to understand and comprehend the comprehension and answer the given question. For that, the teacher can give different materials, different comprehension passages to the students. Maybe she can set the students in small groups and divide those students and give them the material. Or she can also put some vocabulary words on the board to give the definition, so that those students who are unfamiliar with the words, difficult words, they are able to understand the words from the board or from the wall, and then they can apply that. Next is the process, which means that each student has We know that every student has a preferred learning style. We cannot force a student to learn the way we want. So we need to know the learning styles of the student as well. Some students feel comfortable as video tutorials. They're like, we know that there's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic students in our class. So the fact that not all students require the same amount and same support from the teacher, the student could choose to work in pairs or in small groups, or maybe there are some students who feel comfortable working individually. So here the teacher can enhance learning by offering support based on their learning style. This could be done through providing them some video tutorials, or maybe the teacher can give an audio comprehension to the students to listen and answer the given questions, or even the students can be asked to have an interactive online assignment. So every student is able to go through that process of understanding according to their learning style. The third is the product. The product is the outcome. So what do we expect from the students as in the form of assignment? The product is what the student creates at the end of the lesson, which demonstrates their learning of the content. So for this could be done in the form of projects, it could be done in the form of presentation, or maybe the students can be given an opportunity to give a report through different activities. So the duty of the teacher, or the responsibility of the teacher here, becomes to assign students to complete activities that show their mastery of the concept. See, over the time we see that these teaching strategies have changed. We don't follow those traditional teaching strategies now. So it is time then we find the student are the main focus of our classroom. So why not give them what they prefer and how they prefer to learn? For this product, we have variety of examples. How can we create this differentiation? For example, the students who are visual learners, they can create a graphic organizer of the story. Okay, they can be given a chance to come up in front of the class and give an oral presentation, or maybe those students who are kinesthetic learners can ask to build a diorama of the story through illustration. Okay, so this is how we can include differentiation in different areas in our class. The fourth is the learning environment. Learning environment is very, very important throughout the process. It's because we need to understand the physical and psychological needs of the student. If the classroom is comfortable, it's providing all the arrangements and support for the student to learn. They could be put into different groups, they can be learning into as individuals. So it is very important that the classroom is set in a way that each child is able to enjoy the class. Other than that, not only classroom, the students can be taken out from the class. They can be taken to the open air, backyard, front yard. So this is the reason that how teacher caters the need of the student. Psychologically also, it is very important, we can say that teachers should use classroom management and techniques that support the safe environment, because we really need to understand that each child again is coming from a different background, knowledge, understanding, and everything. So for this, as I've told, that we can take the students outside, we can provide the student a quiet place, maybe in at the corner of the classroom, where he or she can go and have a little time of his own reading and researching on some topic. Moving further, we have some strategies that we are going to discuss.
Yes, Tyra, I agree on this slide that when the elements of differentiation are focused, every individual learns something, though the products might be a bit different.
Yes, very
So
true.
target
Yes.
is achieved.
Yes.
Well said.
Okay, these are some strategies. Like, for example, tiered lessons, exit cards, flexible grouping. All these activities, these strategies, they have different activities. For example, if we talk about tiered assignments, they are designed to teach the same skill, but the students create different product to display their knowledge based on their comprehension skills. So there are multiple activities in this particular strategy where the student can choose how the student is willing to demonstrate his learning. Then this is another very interesting is the flexible grouping. See, students prefer to sit with their friends. It is where the teacher could make groups of the mixed able students so that those students who have low order thinking skills can be merged with those who have high order thinking skills, so that when the activity or the topic is going on, they have equal understanding, or maybe the high order thinking skill students can help those who take little more time to understand the topic. Then we have anchor activities. These are very interesting. These are the assignments which are given to the students when they have completed the task. For the example, this could be in a form of quiz, this could be in the form of daily assignment. So anchor activities basically include independent reading projects, grammar or vocabulary, related skills or activities students enjoy when they are done with their work. Then we have think tech toe. It is also a very interesting strategy which allows the students to choose what and how they want to show what they have learned. So, see, differentiation does not mean that you have to plan individually for each student, or you have to include all these elements in your lesson plan. Sometimes you may require differentiation in content, or maybe in your next lesson, or maybe in the next topic you may require differentiation in a product. So giving a platform, a chance, or the opportunity to the student to choose how he or she is willing to deliver the learning is a very good uh, it's a very good thing to let students understand. They get inspired and they enjoy learning more.
Then the next one is,
Yes, we have graphical organizers and mind maps, which again is very interesting. The students, there are students who don't want to write down complete long answers during the class lecture, so it is better that you give a graphical organizers. Or maybe if you're doing a narrative essay, or maybe you're doing a descriptive, sorry, I'm taking example from language because it is what I teach. So this is where when we make mind maps, those students who have difficulty in coming up with ideas, when they see that there are multiple ideas already on the board, it helps them to generate their own idea and their own learning stories or essays.
so they express their own learning in different ways.
Yes, very
That
true.
increases their interest as well and enhances
Enhance their
their
learning.
learning as well.
Yes.
Well said.
Okay, this is about traditional classroom and differentiated classroom. We are in the era of this digital technology, and we now don't follow much of traditional classroom, but we see that educational environment is not just confined to the classroom. We see that it extends to home, the community, and the world around. So schools are not just the structured buildings now, they are centers of lifelong learnings. And most important, teaching is recognized as the most challenging and respected career. So absolutely, it is very, you can say that this is vital for the society and culture to know that our learners, you know understand well, they are able to generate their knowledge in a best possible way. Traditionally, teaching was we can say that it's a combination of information dispensing, and we see that the teacher is the dominant figure in the class. He or she is the one who is solving the problems, and he or she is the one who is actually dominating and giving instructions. Teachers, back in time, if we recall, the teachers were told to do what and how to teach. All right. So they were required to educate every student in the same manner, in the same pace. So they were not even held responsible when any of the child fails. So many teachers simply stood in front of the class and delivered the same lecture or lesson year after year, going gray and old and not being able to or allowed to change. But if we see the differentiated class, if we see what changes have come if we see all these years, that how much the classrooms have changed, we see that teachers are now encouraged. They are open to adopt new practices that acknowledge both the art and science of technology and learning. So they understand the essence of education is a close relationship between a facilitator and a motivated child. So here the chance is given to the student that how he or she learns. The teacher grabs the most important, they are having the most important role to know how each child as an individual, to understand his unique needs. So students work really well and harder when teachers are given a role in determining the form and content of the learning, which help them create their own learning plans and deciding the ways in which they demonstrate, what the students learn, agreeing on what they want to learn and how they want to learn.
So, differentiated instructions are the ones that address the requirement of every individual. But for
Yes.
this, the teacher needs to work upon the students to find out their differences or the different abilities, the potential, and the intelligences as well.
Yes, very true, Ms. Shaina. And we also see that now it's the time that we need to understand how students feel. It is very evident in our classroom, especially where I teach, that when we give a chance to the students to know, to tell us that what and how they want to go about with the project or with the assignment or the content, it really helps them in learning.
It helps them to learn. Plus, they take more interest, and sometimes enjoy so much that they wait for some other assignment and they ask,
Very
Teacher, when will be the new task?" I
because
agree. I
yes,
totally agree with you.
because we as teachers are giving them that respect, that space, that you tell us that how you want to go about. Now I want to make some few points clear over here, that some teachers have these apprehensions that are we going to include all these four elements in our lesson plan. So let me clear that it is not required. As I told earlier, that you need to address the problems or you need to address the weaknesses in your classroom and then generate your lesson plans accordingly. Maybe sometimes you need to include differentiation process in your lesson plan, or maybe the content, you can provide different materials, you can take the student into the multimedia room, maybe the students want a different environment, maybe the student needs some more of visual classes. So this is something that I think the teachers need to first address, that how their students are coming from the different backgrounds and interests, and then she can proceed with and her lesson plans.
Yes, it is the beauty of differentiated instructions that we do not need to jump into all the four elements at a time.
Yes, Mr.
We can
Yes,
address the things, we can go on according to the requirement.
requirement and
Yes.
needs of the student. Yes. So this is just I would say the wrap up of the session, that as a teacher we need to make every child feel welcomed. Basically, labeling a child that, oh, this is a weak student, he cannot understand my topic so well, you have not done well, this is something very I feel that it is very hard wrenching for a student to hear it, because obviously if he is sitting in the same grade level, so why we need to label the students that, oh, he's a high achiever, he's a low student in the class. So everyone is welcome and everyone is equally treated. Respect is very important again. Maybe there are some students who are lacking in language, they are not able to deliver their their learning in the best possible way, but at least they are trying. This is very important, that we see that the student tries to give his best in the form of any form of learning. Physical, mental, and emotional safety. Again, we don't know what is happening in their houses. We don't know what's happening around them, what's surrounding them. So it is very important that we need to have a good and well-being checkup of the students. Say, okay, you can do well. It's okay if something is happening around them. So we need to, as teachers, we need to provide them that space and respect. And obviously, pervasive expectation of growth. We expect our students to learn and grow. And obviously, as teacher we teach for success. It's not only the success of a teacher. We say who fails when a child fails. Okay, so it is also like who wins when a child wins. Okay, so it is not only the success of a teacher, okay, I give the 100% result and everyone has passed. No, it you are succeeded because that student had, had been able to give that result. Okay, so this is very important for a teacher to have a collaborative understanding and make every child feel special, welcomed, and I feel that student is our focus, is our prime focus, and we really need to work on them and be sure that their learning and their knowledge increases by our teaching.
Yes, it means the teacher and the student fail or win at a
Yes,
time similarly.
yes,
If
very true,
they
Mr. Aina.
fail the things, if the teacher fails to teach, students fail to learn.
Learn.
If
Bilkul, very,
teacher wins to teach, the student wins.
yes,
Agree.
exactly. So
Yes.
this was
Then
all about my differentiated classroom. I would have got into much more detail, but inshallah ta'ala, if given chance, in the next session, I would definitely come up with more strategies because I kept those strategies a little limited. But I will definitely try to come up with these strategies in detail so that the teachers would know how to imply those strategies in their lesson plans.
yes. Tahira Amir, it was a pleasure to have you here. You elaborated the topic very well. It was easy to understand, and it was the beauty of the continuation of the topic that made the things easy. That is why we are getting awesome comments over here. So, in our sentence, differentiated instruction is to address the needs of every individual to help to facilitate the student to win or to succeed.
Yes, Miss Saina, bilkul.
Okay?
And I would like to add one more point here. It just popped up into my mind that sometimes what happened that students in the classroom, they are some, very fast workers in the class. They complete their tasks in a very short period of time. So how to keep them engaged? This is one of the problems that majority of the teachers face. So for this, I was just wondering that what could be done. We should allow those students to go to the library and research on the same topic maybe, or they can
Mhm.
be asked to help those students who take little longer time, not to tell the answer of course, but to tell them, to assist them in understanding the question or vocabulary, and then they can help them complete the task.
Acha, there is a demand.
Okay.
There is a comment. Yes, please discuss the strategies in the next session of differentiated instructions. So we will be looking forward. We will be waiting for your next session, inshallah.
Inshallah,
Thank you, Amna
it's
Sami, and the other one, Salima, other participants, other viewers, to give your time and participating over here, making this session alive. And now we are signing off. Inshallah, we will be here with the next guest with this different topic. And up till until then, bye and see you. Allah Hafiz. Thank you,
Allah
Miss
Hafiz.
Tahira.
Thank you, Miss China, for having me. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.